Most men don't lose their self-respect because someone takes it from them. They lose it because they give it away slowly, quietly, one broken promise at a time. There is no dramatic collapse, no public failure, just a pattern of small negotiations with themselves that always end the same way. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. Just this once. That is how self-respect dies. Strong men are not defined by confidence, dominance, or motivation. They are defined by one brutal trait: they do not negotiate with themselves. When something must be done, it gets done, not because they feel inspired, not because it feels good, but because their word to themselves still means something. Discipline is not punishment. It is not restriction. It is not suffering for attention. Discipline is self-respect in action. It is a man proving to himself daily that he is reliable. This is not a motivational message. This is an explanation of why disciplined men quietly rise while undisciplined men endlessly explain. If your word means nothing to you, it will mean nothing to the world. 1. Self-respect is built through follow-through, not feelings. Self-respect is not how you feel about yourself. It is how often you keep your word. A man can talk positively, think optimistically, and believe in himself, and still have no self-respect. Because self-respect is not an internal emotion. It is an internal record. Every promise kept strengthens it. Every promise broken weakens it. Consider a man who decides to wake up early, train regularly, or save money. The first few days are easy. Motivation carries him. Then resistance appears. Fatigue. Boredom. Excuses. This is where self-respect is decided. When he negotiates with himself and quits, he sends a clear message inward. My comfort matters more than my word. Over time, that message compounds. He stops trusting himself. Confidence becomes performance instead of certainty. Discipline ends negotiation. It replaces emotion with execution. A man who keeps his word to himself never needs motivation. 2. Negotiation is how weakness sneaks in. Weakness does not arrive as failure. It arrives as negotiation. Strong men feel resistance just like anyone else. Fatigue shows up. Doubt appears. Discomfort speaks. The difference is not that strong men feel less resistance, but that they refuse to give it authority. They do not entertain it as a valid voice. They do not sit and debate with tiredness. They do not argue with discomfort as if it deserves a vote. They acknowledge resistance for what it is: a predictable response to effort, and then they move anyway. This refusal to negotiate is what separates strength from weakness. The moment a man opens negotiation, he creates a crack. That crack becomes a loophole. The loophole becomes permission. Permission turns into habit. And habits, repeated long enough, solidify into identity. A man who negotiates once finds it easier to negotiate again. The man who negotiates today will negotiate tomorrow. Soon, everything becomes optional. Work becomes optional. Discipline becomes optional. Standards become optional. And when everything is optional, nothing is respected. Not goals, not commitments, not even the man himself. This is how self-respect erodes without noise, not through failure, but through flexibility, in moments where firmness was required. Every negotiation with weakness makes the next one easier. 3. Discipline creates internal authority. A disciplined man does not need external control. When a man consistently does what he says he will do, something fundamental changes inside him. He develops internal authority. His actions no longer depend on pressure, deadlines, supervision, or reminders. He does not need someone watching over his shoulder or forcing his hand. He governs himself because his word has weight. This self-governance is rare, and it is powerful. A man with internal authority does not wait for urgency to act. He does not wait for fear to motivate him. He moves before consequences appear, not after they arrive. Discipline trains him to act early, calmly, and deliberately. Undisciplined men, on the other hand, live under external control. They require deadlines to panic, fear to move, and consequences to wake them up. Without pressure, they stall. Without urgency, they drift. Their behavior is shaped by circumstance rather than choice. Internal authority is what separates men who lead their lives from men who are dragged through them. It is the foundation of leadership because others trust men who can govern themselves. It is the foundation of wealth because consistency compounds. It is the foundation of stability because discipline removes randomness. A man who cannot control himself will always be controlled by circumstances. 4. Discipline is how men escape emotional slavery. Emotion is information, not instruction. Emotion exists to signal what is happening internally, not to decide what should happen next. A disciplined man understands this distinction. He listens to emotion the way he would listen to a warning light on a dashboard, acknowledging it without letting it take control of the vehicle. Men who live emotionally act only when they feel good. When motivation is high, they move. When mood drops, they stall. Over time, their lives become inconsistent, unpredictable, and reactive. Progress comes in bursts, followed by long periods of drift. Men who live with discipline act regardless of mood. They do not wait to feel ready, inspired, or confident. They move because movement is required. Over time, this creates emotional stability, not because emotion disappears, but because emotion no longer controls behavior. Discipline trains a man to move even when emotion resists. Each time he acts in spite of discomfort, he proves to himself that feelings are temporary, but consequences are permanent. This is how emotional strength is built, not by suppressing emotion, but by refusing to be governed by it. A man ruled by emotion is easily manipulated. 5. Self-respect compounds like interest. Small disciplined actions accumulate power in ways most men underestimate. Training consistently, saving regularly, showing up daily, waking up when it would be easier to stay in bed, doing the work when no one is watching. None of these actions feel impressive in isolation. There is no applause attached to them, no immediate reward. But together, repeated over time, they build something far more valuable than excitement. They build reliability. A man who trains consistently becomes physically capable without thinking about it. A man who saves regularly gains financial breathing room without dramatic effort. A man who shows up daily becomes someone others depend on because his presence is predictable. And more importantly, he becomes someone he can depend on himself. That internal reliability is the quiet foundation of self-respect. Undisciplined men search for breakthroughs because they want change without repetition. They chase moments, not habits. Disciplined men understand that real progress is not sudden, it is inevitable. When effort is consistent, outcomes stop being a matter of luck. Consistency turns average effort into dominance. 6. Discipline makes men trustworthy. Trust begins internally. Before the world decides whether a man is trustworthy, the man has already decided it himself. If a man cannot rely on his own word, no amount of external praise or reputation will compensate for that weakness. Discipline aligns words with actions, and over time, that alignment becomes quiet credibility. Not announced, not performed, simply observed. When a man consistently does what he says he will do, people stop questioning him. They stop checking. They stop reminding. His reliability reduces friction everywhere he goes. Trust grows naturally because his behavior is predictable, not because he demands belief. Trustworthy men are given responsibility because responsibility requires confidence and follow-through. Responsibility then creates leverage access to opportunities, decisions, and influence that unreliable men never receive. Leverage creates opportunity, not through luck, but through earned confidence. A man who cannot be trusted with small commitments will never be trusted with large ones. Discipline ensures that trust is built at the smallest level, day after day. Trust is earned by repetition, not intention. 7. Discipline removes chaos from life. Chaos thrives in undisciplined environments because nothing has a place and nothing has a time. When a man has no structure, every day becomes reactive. He wastes energy deciding what to do next, how to do it, and when to start. Small decisions pile up. Fatigue sets in early. Focus scatters. What looks like freedom slowly turns into mental noise. A disciplined routine reduces friction by removing unnecessary decisions. When a man knows when he wakes, when he trains, when he works, and when he rests, his energy is preserved for what actually matters. Decisions become automatic, not because he is robotic, but because he has already decided once and no longer needs to debate himself daily. This reduction in friction creates clarity. Energy that was previously wasted on indecision is redirected into execution. Focus increases because the mind is no longer cluttered with constant choice. Order replaces anxiety. Progress becomes steady rather than chaotic. Order is not control imposed from the outside. It is freedom from confusion on the inside. A disciplined man is not trapped by routine. He is liberated by it. He thinks clearly because his environment no longer competes for his attention. Order is what allows men to think clearly. 8. Discipline is why strong men stay calm under pressure. Pressure exposes habits. Pressure does not create behavior, it reveals it. When pressure enters a situation, a man does not rise to the occasion. He falls back on whatever he has practiced. This is why pressure is such an honest test. It strips away intention and exposes routine. A disciplined man has already practiced discomfort long before pressure arrives. He has trained when he was tired, worked when motivation was low, and carried responsibility when it felt heavy. Because of this, pressure does not shock him, it activates him. The situation may be intense, but the effort required feels familiar. His nervous system has been conditioned for strain. Undisciplined men experience pressure as chaos because chaos is unfamiliar. They have avoided difficulty for so long that resistance feels overwhelming. Their reactions become emotional, scattered, and rushed. Panic replaces clarity, not because the situation is impossible, but because they are unprepared. Disciplined men remain steady under pressure because effort is normal to them. Their habits provide structure when the environment becomes unstable. They think clearly, act deliberately, and conserve energy while others waste it reacting. This is why disciplined men are trusted in moments that matter. They have already proven in private that they can carry weight. Pressure reveals preparation. 9. Discipline makes success boring and reliable. Strong men don't chase intensity, they build systems. Intensity feels powerful because it creates emotion. It feels like progress because it creates movement. But intensity is unreliable. It spikes and crashes. It depends on mood, energy, and circumstance. Systems do not. Systems operate regardless of how a man feels on a given day. Disciplined men understand this difference early. They stop chasing moments of extreme effort and start building repeatable structures. Fixed routines. Non-negotiable habits. Simple rules followed daily. From the outside, this looks boring. Repetition. Routine. Predictability. Nothing dramatic. Nothing exciting. But inside that boredom is certainty. Certainty that the work will be done. Certainty that progress will continue even on bad days. Certainty that results are no longer dependent on motivation or emotion. While others wait to feel ready, disciplined men move because the system moves them. This is why disciplined success looks slow at first and unstoppable later. Systems compound quietly. They remove decision-making, reduce friction, and protect consistency. Over time, what once looked boring becomes dominance. Boring done daily beats intense done rarely. 10. Strong men don't negotiate, they execute. There is no debate inside a disciplined man. When something must be done, it is done. Not after discussion. Not after mood checks. Not after searching for justification. There is no emotional conversation about whether the task feels fair, convenient, or comfortable. There are no excuses crafted to soften the moment. There is no delay disguised as preparation. Action follows decision immediately. This does not mean a disciplined man lacks compassion or awareness. It means he understands that clarity is kinder than hesitation. Hesitation breeds doubt. Doubt breeds avoidance. Avoidance breeds regret. Discipline cuts that chain at the source by removing debate altogether. Strong men execute because execution protects identity. Every completed task reinforces the belief that their word matters. Every delayed action weakens it. Over time, this creates a man whose actions are trusted instinctively by himself and by others because execution has become automatic. This is not cruelty toward oneself. It is respect. It is a man refusing to lie to himself about what must be done. Execution is self-respect made visible. On a final note, discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It is about being honest with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you reinforce identity. Every time you negotiate, you weaken it. Strong men do not negotiate with themselves because their word still carries weight. Discipline is not restriction. It is self-respect in motion.